Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka Batbomb82, and today I'll be doing my 196th Mezco Toyz 112 Collective action figure review, this time being of the G.I. Joe Roadblock. Now, taking a look at the front, we can see some really cool vintage art of Roadblock. And if we turn the box around, a more pulled out full-bodied image of the character. So with the box out of the way, let's go ahead and crack this figure open and let him breathe. Alright guys, now let's take a closer look at Roadblock here. Now this is one I've really been anticipating, as I freaking loved the Mezco Destro. That is probably one of my favorite figures in the 112 Collective line, and I just absolutely love G.I. Joe, so getting more Joes to build up those ranks is so much fun. And I think the G.I. Joe line, subline of the 112 Collective is going to be my most anticipated just going throughout the years, you know what I mean? But Roadblock here looks freaking great, dude. I love the camo tank top that we get here and done in the soft goods, looks really good. And then you got these nice brownish tan, like cargo pants that look really nice. One thing I think is really cool is that when you look at these knee pads, these weren't actually shown in the original solicitation. I went back and looked at promo pics, and these weren't actually there. So this is something that wasn't originally going to be included, but is a nice surprise once we actually got the figure. But I love this harness that he gets here too, done in the green, the blacks, that really dark gunmetal silver looks really nice too. I love the musculature, those veins popping. Homeboy totally lifts. Those hands look great with those knuckle dusters right there on the gloves. We got the back looking really good too. I love things like the stitched on like back pockets and things like that. But I love the boots. The boots look fantastic. All that great DLC. You got some steel toe boots right there. The laces, all that really nicely painted. You got some texture at the bottom of the feet, some nice tread there. I mean, this thing looks awesome, dude. Such a cool looking figure. And again, as much as I love G.I. Joe, I also love that one of my favorite toy lines, the 112 Collective, is doing G.I. Joe. And again, this just makes me so happy to see a figure like this in this line. Now moving on to accessories, we of course do the Mezco circular base stand with the G.I. Joe logo right there printed at the top, which I think looks great, and then done in that military green. And we of course do get the clear articulated arm that comes with every figure. We also get a bunch of interchangeable hands, that I love. You got different types of gripping hands, trigger finger hands, stylish posing hands, you know, gesturing hands, things like that, support hands, all that kind of stuff, which I think is great. I mean, everything you're going to need for the guy just works out fantastic. We also get 3 different interchangeable heads, which I think all look really cool. So you got a more standard serious head, you know, he just looks pissed off, but I love it. It just looks so good. Then you definitely got a more, a bit of a happy face, which I think looks awesome. And I think all 3 of these heads are just very expressive, but I love the happy one. He just looks so happy to be blowing up some Cobra, or you know what I mean? I don't know, but I think it turned out great. And then he has this really angry head where he just looks snarling teeth. He is pissed. Those eyebrows. I mean, again, all of these are very, very expressive, and I do love that a lot. What we also do get a really cool helmet, and this is an interesting helmet, so it does fit over all of the head sculpts, which is great. And I also noticed that right on the sides of the helmet here, we get these peg holes, so I'm not sure if those are going to be used for something later for a different figure, but it kind of feels like something could be ported on there, maybe like a visor or something like that. I haven't looked at the other Joe releases, future releases, so I don't know. But one thing I don't like, honestly, the sculpt is great, the paint apps are great. For me, the color is a little too bright and vibrant with the actual figure. That's a issue with me, but it still looks good. You see the dirtiness and the griminess, and you can see even some silver peeking through under the paint of it. So I don't like that. Again, it's just the sculpt is good. I don't like the colors. That does not work for me at all. So what I've been doing, I actually have the G.I. Joe classified version of Roadblock, and I've been taking that helmet, and surprisingly, this helmet fits on there perfectly. And I love the fact that this one has the straps coming down. I think it just adds to it. And this is a much more darker, muted green, which I think, you know, goes with things like the vest and the gloves and the camo and all that kind of stuff. I think that works out a lot better. You know, just holding these helmets side by side, you can see how much drastically brighter green this is compared to this one. So I think for me, I'm going to pull this off the classified one and use it for my Mezco display Roadblock, because I just think that looks so much better. Moving on, we also, of course, do get blast effects, which is really nice. And we've seen this before with a bunch of different Mezcos. You got like a smaller pistol type of blast effect. You got these ones with a bigger sparks coming off of it like that. And then you got an even larger one for his, BFG, his big gun. So those are all really cool. I do love those a lot. Sometimes these little pegs that port into the guns can be a little crooked, so I want to be careful when they're porting them in. You want to straighten them out as much as you can, or else they look really crooked when you put them in the guns. But those all, I think, work really, really good. Now, as far as his weapons go, we do get a nice little pistol that I think looks really, really good. If my camera would decide to actually focus on, there you go, you can actually see it now. But that looks really good. It doesn't cock back or anything, but I do like it. And you can port one of those effects pieces in there. And he does have a little side holster right there for his leg. That works out really nice, so I dig that a lot. We also do get a bunch of these little black grenades. I think those are cool. I'll never use these as, for figure photography and like maybe diorama. You want a bunch of grenades laying around. Those are cool, but they're simple. Again, I'll just personally never use them. We also do get this little dagger right here, almost like a Tonto edge blade, which I do like. That's really nice too. That is going to go in this other vest that we do get, because you have multiple looks for this figure, which looks really nice. And you can see how it just kind of like buttons down the seam of the center of the vest like that. That's really cool too. And this will slide into the bottom of the back of this vest like that. But the details on that are fantastic, man. You can see how dirty that is. The texture, the paint apps are just like perfect. Again, very reminiscent of the old A Real American Hero, or the ARA Roadblock, which I do like. That old school vest looks really cool, and he just looks so dirty. I like that a lot. But also like the fact that it has these hoops right here on the side, because the same thing with the vest, the harness that I have on, the leg straps here do connect to that, so it kind of looks like he's holding those up. Same thing with this one. You can put this vest on and these straps will hook onto the sides of that. So I think that works out really, really good, and you'll see all of these looks and pictures later on in the video. We also do get this big beefy bitch of a gun right here. I love this thing. This looks so good. Don't even ask me to name these weapons, dude. I'm not a gun person. I don't know what this is called. I'm pretty sure this has more of an official name, but I would not know. So feel free to let me know in the comments if you know what these guns are called. But I love the, I guess this is technically a magazine right here where all the bullets go in. But I love the color, how they actually painted the bullets, that really nice gold. That's super cool, man. So I love that. And we also do get this other vest. This has a lot going on for it. So this doesn't actually have the working little buckle straps on there like that. You got the bungee type of bands on there. And you can see the back of the harness is all fully painted. This has more of a flat back. That is going to be for this carrying thing right here. And this is interesting because this does actually slide at the bottom right here. So you're going to take this little tab and then slide these things in right there, the bottom like that, and then that tab's gonna go through and you can kind of push that up, and then this is gonna strap on around his back like that. And then you can actually take the strip, or the, I don't know what this is called, a chain. Is this a bullet chain? Again, I don't know all this stuff, man, not a gun person. But then you can plug that into the backpack because that is where the ammo would go. Strap that on there like that. That works out really good too. And that is gonna go for his BFG right here, which just looks fantastic. I love this gun. It is very different from the one that we got with classified here. This thing was like a big old rotating Gatling gun. You know what I mean? It looks cool. I still really like this one a lot. This one actually does rotate. I think that's really awesome. But this is definitely a different style of a heavy gun like that. And, you know, Roadblock is a heavy. He carries all the big weapons, which I do like. And then you can actually fold up the trigger handle like that. You got the support handle right there. Again, all of that looks really good. And then again, you could take that ammo chain like that and then plug it into the side of the gun right there. So that's really cool, man. This is something that definitely works for Roadblock, and I think it's just super cool. But of course, that is not it with this thing. So again, this thing does come off. You can just pull this off and then lift down like that. That is because you can actually turn this little piece, right? It just kind of rotates just a little bit, you know, so it kind of has like a locking mechanism. Then you're going to pull this off, and you're going to reveal some stuff on the inside right here. That is actually a tripod for that big gun of his, which is really cool. And all those pieces store out. You can pull them all out and assemble them for an actual tripod, a working tripod for that gun, which I think is actually really, really cool, man. So that's a really cool addition. Again, if you want to have some type of diode, you want to have some type of different display options, I'm all about that. I think that works out really good. And again, this thing does have the different types of handles for like the tripod, I guess, version of it. You fold this down and then pull out these little side handles like that, and he can actually hold it in there, and you have the ports like that. So I think that's really cool, man. Really bunch of great options here, and that's something that I think Mezco thrives in. Now I'm going to go ahead and run down the articulation with this particular setup with this harness and like the leg straps and things like that. So the head and the neck are on ball pegs, so those roll around. Lots of good motion there. Can look down all the way that far, up all the way that much. This isn't a double ball peg, so that ball peg at the base of the neck really cranks it up all the way down there. Left to right, pivot, side to side, all that kind of good stuff. Arms can go full 360, up and out that far, which is pretty nice. That is really good. No rotation up there, rotation at the bicep, double jointed elbows, rotation at the wrist as well as a hinge at the wrist. We get the double ball peg at the midsection, so that rolls around very nicely. It does turn left and right, pivot side to side, crunches back and forth. The hip joints can kick forward about that far, back about that much, splits out very far. That's actually pretty good. Rotation at the upper thigh. We got a double jointed knee. We got rotation at the boot, and the ankles are on ball pegs, so those roll around, rotate side to side, up, down, and a decent ankle rocker. So overall, I don't know, man, I just love this figure. I think the G.I. Joe subline is probably going to be one of my favorite sublines as far as Mezco goes. You know, they have DC, they have Marvel, they even got Ghostbusters, but G.I. Joe is something like, this is probably my dream G.I. Joe line, and finally getting in the head is just so awesome, especially Roadblock here, a very, you know, big name character in the Joe team. I love him, man. I think he came out great, and for me, he is definitely a must get. So for a quick size comparison, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends Deadpool and Mafex Batman figure. Also for comparison, here he is standing next to a G.I. Joe Classified Roadblock and Mezco 112 Collective Destro. And just for fun, here he is with little Lego Bat Bomb. So there it is, guys, my review of the Mezco 112 Collective Roadblock. Now, overall, I think this is a really badass figure, man. I absolutely love the soft goods like the tank top and those cargo pants. They work very nicely. I love the fact that we get 3 harnesses to give him 3 different looks, or technically 4 looks if you take off all the harnesses. But the one that holds on the backpack is one that we weren't originally going to get, so that's a surprising additional piece, again, that we weren't expecting, much like those knee pads, so that's really cool. I love the detail on all the different weapons. Again, he is a heavy, so he gets big freaking guns, and I love that. The chain bullet thing that connects to the backpack that also stores the tripod, that is genius. I love the different face sculpts. Again, these are some of the most expressive faces I think we've ever seen from Mezco, from the more stoic straight-faced head to the smiling, grinning head to that very angry, pissed-off head. I think that is all fantastic, man. Throw in a bunch of interchangeable hands and really, really good articulation. This makes for one badass piece. Figures like this and the Destro really hype me up and get me really excited for future G.I. Joe releases from Mezco. Again, this might be my favorite G.I. Joe line ever done, and that's really saying something because I love Classified. But this piece is totally badass, and I think he will look great in any of your Mezco collections. So be excellent to each other, and stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.